Hello, I'm amirdynast.
We disagree politically or economically, but from a GABA perspective, especially us going into 2024, our focus is definitely mobility and energy, of course. We're also going to be focusing heavily on trade centers. So I don't know if you and your audience have seen some of our commercials about the GABA Marketplace Center, which is the retail and distribution hub that we're building up here in Michigan. Also, even the space economy is high on our list, because we're not talking about just putting brothers and sisters in space. We're also looking at it from a supply chain. We have a lot of space agencies in Africa, like Nigeria, that's in its infancy. This is a great opportunity for African American brothers and sisters to take advantage of create their own destiny if they want to get involved in the whole aeronautics, engineering, the whole aeronautics piece and space supply chain as manufacturers, as information technologists. This is the time to do that, to create an economy, a global economy. And so those are some of the things we're focusing on. So the strike doesn't have anything to do with GABA, but we're going to continue moving the whole platform of mobility, automotive, information technology, and things forward.
What opportunities are available for the diaspora who want to invest in Africa? Because people are always asking. Because I would say the stereotypical saying that they're not legit investments, investment opportunities for the diaspora in Africa. People are always asking, Dynast, where the diamond mines at? I want to invest in the diamond mines.
Right.
Where the diamond mines? I would invest in the diamond mines. Like, what other opportunities are out there outside of just
there are a ton of things you can invest in on the continent. You can invest in something as small as a mechanic shop. Now, I know that sounds kind of crazy, but trust me, a mechanic shop. You can open a driving school for young people. There's a lot of youth on the continent. You can create industry around cybersecurity. You create industry around mechatronics, robotics. You can create opportunities around textiles, building, manufacturing, food processing. I believe oftentimes when we look at Africa, we look at it as a quick, rich scheme. We can't look at Africa as a quick, rich scheme. We have to look at it as a complete investment. And Africa is just a continent. You have to also identify what country you like to penetrate. Right. Are you interested in technology? Maybe Kenya is an option. Are you interested in real estate? Maybe Rwanda or Sierra Leone. I remember meeting with the president of Sierra Leone several years ago in Washington, D.C. And he made it very clear that he wants to move Sierra Leone. And I know you go to Sierra Leone a lot. This will caught my attention with him. He said he wants to position Sierra Leone to be part of the fourth industrial revolution. That caught my attention immediately. And from that point, in the GABA perspective, we moved Sierra Leone way up on our list of countries to penetrate and invest, because any president that's openly saying they want to invest, they want to turn the country into a fourth industrial revolution as it pertains to industry, that opens the door for many, many opportunities, not just mining, but also building schools, building infrastructure. You have a lot of African American construction companies that want to build infrastructure, want to build schools, want to build condominiums and real estate projects in countries like Sierra Leone, Liberia, Nigeria. And so the opportunities, we have to identify, number one, how much money you're willing to spend in terms of your budget. Number two, what industry you would like to tap into. Is it energy? Is it technology? Is it education? Is it anything ranging from construction? Is it ranging from skilled trade or skilled tech trades? Is it anything? Maybe hospitality is your thing. Maybe you want to invest in agriculture, open up a network of restaurants across the continent using agricultural products that are homegrown in those nations. And so we have to be mindful when we talk about investing in Africa, investing in what country in Africa. We have to identify what exactly we would like to do. You don't always have to start big. I always tell people to start small first and work their way up.
So I'm a firm believer that I'm not going to allow another group of men determine how I'm going to impact or invest in Africa. Mm-hmm. Of course, in the chat room, we got you can't invest because the Lebanese and the Chinese and, the white man, Europeans over there. What would be your response to that?
They have every right to invest. We let them come in and invest. The question is, the question I always have is, especially to our Chamber of Commerce and Industry partners, what is the foreign policy strategy from an economic perspective to penetrate markets here in the U.S.? And the reason I'm asking that is because there are enough products in places like Nigeria, there are enough products in places like South Africa, where we can export made in South Africa, made in Nigeria, made in Rwanda products here to the U.S. And there's enough products that we produce here as African Americans to export there, to create a two-way pipeline of investment. The Lebanese, the Turkish, the Chinese, they're going to continue to invest on the continent and the countries of their choice because that's their right. The question becomes, what do we do as a community to have a part of that? And also on the back end, what are those Chamber of Commerces coming up with in terms of foreign policy directive to impact communities like mine here, so that, guess what, you want to do an export and have an economic impact here in my community, we'll make sure you have a PO box. We'll make sure that you have a building. We'll make sure you have incubation space to work from. So that way you have a presence in the US, we have a presence over there, and now we can both work collectively as one, and we can have just as much fun as the Turkish. We can have just as much fun as the Chinese. Right. It takes us to understand our true value and our true vision to make things work. So the Lebanese, I live in the state of Michigan. I live in Southeast Michigan. We have one of the largest Middle Eastern populations in the United States. It does not intimidate me one bit. You know why? Because there are 50 to 60,000 Africans living here in the state of Michigan alone, statewide. And guess what? Total trade between the state of Michigan and the African Caribbean diaspora is close to 2 billion. Okay. Wow. We have a stake politically, economically, community-wise, and we have a voice at the table to control and own that table. And so we can have fun as well once we get the information. And so the reality of the situation is we have a lot of work to do as a community, but we have to start making demands that we too matter.
Guys, hit the like button again. Please hit the like button. Link is in the chat room. If you want to call in and add to the conversation, you're more than welcome to click on the link and call in and add to the conversation. For individuals who are interested in GABA and want to utilize GABA's services, who do they contact or how do they go about doing that?
They can just go to GABAnetwork.com, GABANETWORK.com. Go to our website, view our website. If you have any questions, just put an inquiry in, we'll respond.
The next 10 years in regards to engaging the African continent from a Black diaspora perspective, how does that look like?
If we don't shift our thinking from social justice to economic impact,
I want you to repeat that again. Repeat that again. God, that repeat that, because but you know what's crazy? The main social justice. I want to use the right word because I don't want to offend anybody. The main social justice warriors, if you notice, they already cashed out and they got their economic impact for themselves.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's as long as people keep us angry, we'll miss out on those 10 years. If we have to shift our mentality from social justice to economic impact. We have to start understanding our global value and our global wealth. The problem has been us versus them, and that's what's keeping us divided. We have to understand the importance of leveraging our resources in a 21st century platform in order for us to transform the continent. The continent can be transformed in multiple stages if we are totally engaged in the continent. I think the problem has been